Have you ever wondered why some women seem to effortlessly make men obsess over them, while others feel invisible no matter how hard they try? There's a secret feminine power most people never talk about. It's not about looks, it's not about playing games, and it's definitely not about chasing him for attention. It's something deeper, something that triggers a man's emotional brain in ways he can't even explain. It's the emotional contrast that makes him feel alive when he's with you, the way you show interest without ever losing your independence, how you leave him guessing by saying less but meaning more, how every interaction with you becomes a source of emotional anchoring where he feels addicted to the way you make him feel, and how your unpredictable availability keeps him wondering when he'll get to see you next. But the most magnetic part? It's when you're self-amused, when you're too busy enjoying your own life to care whether he's watching or not. And that's exactly when he starts watching the most. If you want to understand the subtle psychological triggers that make a man chase, obsess, and crave to be around you, stay with me, because this is the secret you've been waiting for. When it comes to attraction, most people think it's about doing or saying the right thing, following some perfect script, or ticking boxes that they think a guy wants. But the truth is, the secret feminine power that makes men obsessed isn't about any of that. It's about the emotional experience you create when he's around you. And one of the most underrated and powerful tools in your toolkit is the tool to get that doesn't involve your usual initial emotional contrast. See, here's what most people don't realize. Human beings, especially men, don't get addicted to people. They get addicted to feelings. They get addicted to how they feel when they're with you. If you think about the people you've felt drawn to in the past, the ones you couldn't stop thinking about, it wasn't just about how they looked or even what they said. It was about the emotional roller coaster they took you on. And it was about the emotional roller coaster they took you on. One moment they made you feel playful and lighthearted. The next they challenged you. The next they were vulnerable. And then out of nowhere, they'd make you laugh until your stomach hurt. That's the magic formula most people miss. When a woman only shows one emotional color, no matter how positive it is, it gets predictable. Predictability is the enemy of emotional obsession. If every time he talks to you, you're just nice, or you're always agreeable, or you're always serious and deep, or you're constantly flirty and light with no depth, he may enjoy it at first, but over time, it becomes flat. One note, easy to figure out. And when someone feels like they've figured you out too soon, the mystery dies. And with it, so does their obsession. Now, contrast that with what happens when you're a woman who knows how to show different sides of herself. One day, you're the playful tease, making him laugh, keeping things light, throwing in a bit of witty sarcasm. The next day, you let him see a more thoughtful, reflective side of you. You're not afraid to go deep on a conversation about your passions, your fears, or something real that happens in your life. And then, just when he thinks he's pinned you as sweet and soulful, you show up the next time with this sassy, confident energy that keeps him guessing all over again. This emotional variety creates tension. It creates unpredictability. It keeps him on his toes, wondering, what am I going to get today? And that's the state you want him in. Curious, invested, wanting more. It's like being on a roller coaster. No one buys a ticket for a ride that only goes straight. People want the climb, the drop, the sudden twist, the unexpected turn. That's what makes the experience exciting. That's what makes someone line up to ride again and again. Emotional contrast does the same thing with attraction. It makes you a ride he never wants to get off. This doesn't mean you should play games or be emotionally manipulative. It's not about manufacturing drama. It's about giving yourself permission to bring your full emotional range to the table. Sometimes you'll be soft and nurturing. Sometimes you'll call him out playfully when he's being cocky. Sometimes you'll pull back a little and let him come to you. Other times, you'll lean in and make him feel special and wanted. All of this, when done with authenticity, builds a rich emotional landscape that he will crave. The beautiful part is, this doesn't require changing who you are. In fact, the more you lean into your authentic feelings in the moment, the more this happens naturally. If he says something that makes you laugh, don't hold back your joy. If he crosses a line, don't be afraid to give him that raised eyebrow and say, "Excuse me?" If you're in a reflective mood, let him see that thoughtful side. If you're excited about something, share it with unfiltered energy. The key is not to suppress your emotional responses, to fit into some version of what you think he wants. The moment you start showing up as the full, vibrant, multi-dimensional woman you are, you automatically create emotional contrast. And when you do that, something really interesting happens. He stops being able to predict you, and he starts feeling this low-key anxiety about what it means to lose your attention. That's when he starts chasing. That's when he starts craving more time with you, because spending time with you makes him feel alive in a way that other people don't. And the best part? He won't even be able to explain why. One of the most underrated but powerful shifts you can make in your love life is learning how to want someone without needing them. And I get it. When you really like a guy, when you're excited about where things could go, it's easy to slip into that space where suddenly your mood, your confidence, your entire emotional state starts to revolve around how he's showing up or not showing up. One great conversation with him and you're on cloud nine, unignored text and you're spiraling, questioning everything. But here's the truth about human psychology, especially when it comes to attraction. We value what feels just slightly out of reach, not something impossible, not something cold or emotionally unavailable, but something that doesn't hand itself over too easily. We're drawn to people who have options, people who choose us, not because they need to, but because they genuinely want to. When you operate from a place of need, even if you don't say it out loud, it leaks out in your energy. It shows up in the way you text him back too quickly every time, in how you rearrange your schedule at the drop of a hat to see him, in how you wait anxiously for him to initiate plans instead of building a life full of your own passions and priorities. Even if your words say, "I'm cool, I'm confident, I'm relaxed," your actions scream, "Please, pick me." And guys feel that. Even the ones who like you, even the ones who were into you at first, that anxious energy starts to chip away at the mystery, the fun, the effortless attraction. What was once exciting and engaging starts to feel heavy, like a responsibility, like pressure, like he's no longer choosing you, he's managing you. But when you flip the script, when you start to see yourself as someone who brings value, joy, and excitement into someone's life, but doesn't hinge your happiness on whether they stick around, everything changes. Suddenly, every interaction you have with him is from a place of freedom. You're not there trying to prove your worth. You're not waiting for him to tell you you're special. You're showing up knowing you already are. This shift doesn't mean you play games. It doesn't mean you pretend you're too busy when you're not, or ignore him on purpose. That's just manipulation dressed up as confidence. What it does mean is that you have a full life that continues with or without him. You've got your own plans, your own priorities, your own friends, goals, dreams. And because of that, when you do give him your time, your energy, your affection, it means something. It feels earned. It feels special. And he knows it's not something he can just take for granted. Think about it like this. Imagine two restaurants. One is always empty. the staff are standing around bored. And the second you walk in, you're seated immediately. The other place? It's buzzing, there's a line out the door, the atmosphere feels electric, and getting a table feels like a win. Which one feels more exciting, more worth the wait, more valuable? That's the dynamic you're creating when you live your life from a place of want, but not need. When a man feels that you're okay with or without him, it activates something primal in him. The desire to win you, to prove himself, to show you why he deserves a place in your life. Suddenly, he's not just responding out of politeness or boredom. He's pursuing you because your time feels like a prize. Your attention feels like a reward. And here's the beautiful part. Operating this way not only makes you more attractive, it also protects your heart. Because when you know you'll be fine, whether he stays or goes, you stop accepting crumbs. You stop tolerating half measures and mixed signals. You stop chasing clarity from someone who's being vague, because you're too busy living a life that fulfills you in 100 other ways. You get to show up authentically. If you're excited to see him, show it. If you're missing him, tell him. But when you speak from that place of emotional security, it lands differently. It feels like a bonus, not a burden. At the end of the day, the women who truly drive men crazy, the ones men think about long after the date ends, the ones they regret losing, the ones they compare every future connection to, are the women who know how to want a man without needing him. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they like someone is giving too much too soon. It's almost like this instinct kicks in that says, if I just tell him everything about me, if I just stay in constant contact, if I just keep showing up, he'll like me more. But the truth is, mystery is one of the most powerful drivers of attraction. And if you strip all the mystery away, you leave nothing for his mind to wonder about, nothing for him to chase, nothing for him to discover. People don't obsess over things that feel predictable. They obsess over things that make them curious, things that leave questions unanswered. When you answer every text within seconds, when you explain every single thing you're doing, when you share your entire life story in the first few conversations, you rob him of the chance to feel that curiosity build. That beautiful space where he finds himself wondering, what is she thinking right now? What is she doing? Who is she with? Is she thinking about me? And here's the wild thing. It's not about playing games. It's not about being manipulative or cold or distant for the sake of it. It's about giving things room to breathe, leaving just enough unsaid that he feels the need to fill in the blanks, to lean in a little closer, to ask the next question, to text first next time. It's in that space between what you give and what you hold back that real desire starts to grow. And Jenny, you got this right. You were the first person to text me saying, hey, Michael, hit me, because that's what I need to fill the next blank, to take something. It's in that space between what you give and what you hold back that real true love comes from. It's in that space that when you give and what you hold back that real true love, when you communicate with him, you don't need to craft some elaborate mystery novel version of yourself. But you also don't need to narrate your day like a reality TV show contestant giving a play-by-play. If he asks, how was your weekend? You don't need to list every errand, every coffee shop, every conversation with your friends. You could simply smile and say, it was fun. Got into a little trouble with my friends. That's it. Now his mind is buzzing. What kind of trouble? Was it good trouble? Who was she with? Why does that sound so intriguing? When he sends you a text, you don't need to reply immediately every single time. like you've been sitting around waiting for him, not because you want to make him feel unimportant, but because your life is actually full. Because you're not glued to your phone, waiting for validation, because you're busy doing things that make you happy. And when you do respond, let your tone reflect that self-sufficiency. Let it feel like his text added something to your already amazing day, not that it saved you from boredom. And there's something powerful about being comfortable with silence, letting moments hang, not rushing to fill gaps in conversation with nervous energy. When you're on the phone with him or out on a date, embrace the moments when he's quiet and thinking. Don't overcompensate by rambling just to avoid awkwardness. Let the silence work for you. Let him wonder what's going on in your mind. Let him lean into that silence because he's desperate to know what you're going to say next. Another place this shows up is when you're telling stories. Be the kind of person who gives just enough detail to paint a picture, but leaves out enough that he wants to ask follow-up questions. If you're talking about a trip you took, maybe mention the funniest, almost unexpected part, but leave out the ending and let him ask how it all turned out. If you mention a new project at work, hint at how excited or nervous you are, but don't spill every detail. Let him pull it out of you. Let him work for that information. People value what they work for. The more he has to lean in, ask, guess, or interpret, the more he has to lean in, ask, guess, or interpret, the more invested he becomes. The more time he spends thinking about you, between conversations, wondering what you're doing, replaying moments in his head, trying to figure you out, the deeper the hooks go. And here's what's even more beautiful about this. When you're a little mysterious, you give him the gift of experiencing you over time. You allow the relationship to unfold layer by layer. And that pacing makes the connection feel richer, more earned, more intoxicating. It makes him feel like every new thing he learns about you is a reward for his patience and effort. So before you hit send on that long paragraph, before you explain why you didn't reply immediately, before you spill every thought running through your head just to fill the space, pause, breathe, smile, and remember, the magic isn't always in what you say. Sometimes it's in what you don't. Sometimes it's in what you don't. You know, one of the most powerful things you can do to make someone crave you without even realizing why is to become the emotional anchor in their life. I'm talking about being the person who, when they think of you, their body physically responds with a sense of warmth, excitement, safety, or even a rush of adrenaline. It is about creating an emotional association that is so strong, so undeniable, that even when you're not around, they're thinking about you, missing you, and craving more of the feelings you bring into their world. And here's the thing most people miss. It's not always about looking perfect, saying the right thing, or trying to be who you think they want. It's about how you make them feel. People remember feelings more than words. They remember how their heart raced when they laughed with you, how they felt truly seen when you asked them that one thoughtful question no one else ever asked, how they felt alive when you teased them in just the right way. That emotional memory sticks. Now, think about your own life for a second. Think about the people you're drawn to, the ones you get a little thrill when their name pops up on your phone. It's not because they're the most physically perfect person you've ever met. It's because they make you feel something you don't feel with anyone else. They make you feel playful, understood, desired, challenged, or maybe all of those things at once. And the truth is, you can create that effect in someone's life too. It starts with becoming intentional about the emotional energy you bring. When you're with him, you want to be fully present, not scrolling on your phone, not mentally rehearsing what to say next, but actually tuned in, engaged, listening, laughing, and reacting naturally. Let him feel the electricity of real human connection, something that's getting rarer and rarer these days. When he tells you something exciting, match his energy. Celebrate with him. When he shares something vulnerable, show empathy. Let him feel that with you, there's no judgment, just understanding. And when he shares something vulnerable, show empathy. Let him feel that with you, there's no judgment, just understand. But there's another layer to this. It's not just about being his cheerleader. It's about making sure your moments together aren't emotionally one-known. You want variety. Surprise him. If he's used to you being sweet and soft, show him your cheeky, mischievous side now and then. If you're usually the light-hearted one, let him see your depth too. This emotional range keeps him guessing. It keeps him curious. And curiosity fuels obsession. You also have to let him invest emotionally. Don't be the only one giving. Let him comfort you sometimes. Let him make you laugh. Let him feel like he's earning your attention and your joy. When someone works for something, they value it more. And when he feels that the best parts of himself show up when he's with you, he'll want to keep coming back for that experience. Another powerful way to create emotional anchoring is through small, unexpected moments of intimacy. And I don't mean physical intimacy necessarily. I mean those moments where you catch his eye across the room and smile like you're sharing a private joke. Or when you send him a random text saying, "I just heard this song and it made me think of you," and leave it at that. No explanation needed. Those tiny gestures linger in his mind far longer than you'd expect. Even when you're not with him, find ways to extend the emotional connection. Send a voice note instead of a text. Leave a little mystery in your conversations. Give him something to replay in his head later. Emotional anchors aren't created through one grand gesture. They're built moment by moment through consistency, unpredictability, fun, depth, and genuine connection. Once this emotional association is built, he won't even understand why he feels the way he does about you. He'll just know that when he's not around you, something feels off, like something's missing. His body will crave the emotional high you bring him. And that craving is what keeps him coming back again and again. You know what happens when someone feels like they've got you all figured out? They stop trying. It's human nature. When something feels guaranteed, we stop valuing it. The same thing happens in dating. When you're always available, always replying within seconds, always saying yes to plans, you create an unconscious message in their mind that your time and attention aren't in short supply. And people rarely value what feels abundant and easy to get. But let's get something clear. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. This is about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your sense of value. It's about showing someone that your life is full, that you have things going on, that while you like them, you're not going to drop everything the moment they snap their fingers. What makes someone obsessed, what makes them sit up at night thinking about you, is unpredictability, not in the way that causes anxiety or confusion, not hot and cold in a way that makes them feel emotionally unsafe, but just enough uncertainty that they're never quite sure when they'll get you next. And that creates tension. That tension is the spark that keeps them engaged. Think about it like this. Imagine your favorite TV show, the one you can't stop binge watching. Why do you stay hooked? Why do you stay hooked? It's the cliffhangers, it's the unanswered questions, it's the twists and turns you didn't see coming. If they gave you all the answers in the first episode, you'd be bored halfway through and probably wouldn't finish the season. Attraction works the same way. Predictability kills desire. Sometimes you're available. You reply, you're warm, you're present, you show interest. But other times, you're busy, genuinely busy. Not sitting there staring at your phone, waiting for their text to come through, but actually out living your life. Meeting friends, going to the gym, working on your goals, laughing at memes with your best friend, catching up on your favorite book. When you do this, you send a subconscious signal. I'm not sitting around waiting for you. I have a full life. You're invited to be a part of it, but you're not the center of it. And the beautiful thing, when they don't always know when they'll get your attention next, they start trying harder to secure it. They double text. They make plans in advance. They prioritize you because now your time feels rare and scarcity increases value. But let me be really clear about something. This doesn't mean ignoring people or playing hard to get in a way that feels cold or distant. It's about balance. If you're always unavailable, if you're constantly too busy, people will eventually give up and move on. The key is in the unpredictability. Some days you're free, others you're not. Some texts get answered quickly, others take a little longer. Some weekends you're spontaneous and up for an adventure, other weekends you're booked with your own life. When someone feels like they have to earn your time, they start cherishing it more. And when they cherish your time, they invest more emotionally. That's when attachment starts to build. The irony is, the moment you actually stop making someone the sun around which your whole life revolves, that's the moment they start chasing you. They'll notice when you're not around. They'll wonder why you're taking longer to reply. They'll overthink why you're suddenly not as available as you used to be. And that curiosity will stir emotions they didn't even realize they had. Suddenly, it's not just about you being another option in their life. You've become the question they want an answer to. You've become the puzzle they feel driven to solve. And here's the most powerful part. While they're sitting there, analyzing your every move, replaying your last conversation, wondering what you're doing and who you're with, you'll be out there, living, laughing, growing, becoming even more magnetic, not for the sake of making them want you more, but because you finally put yourself back at the center of your own life. That's when the shift happens. That's when they go from casually interested to obsessed. You know what's fascinating? We spend so much time trying to figure out what will make someone like us more, what we should say, how we should act, how to make them want us. But the truth is, the people who pull us in the strongest are the ones who already seem completely entertained and fulfilled by their own life, with or without us in it. Think about it for a second. Have you ever met someone who just had this natural glow about them? Not because they were trying to impress anyone, not because they were doing something big and dramatic, but because they were genuinely having fun being themselves. That's the energy I'm talking about. That's the power of self-amusement. This isn't about pretending you're happy when you're not. It's not about faking joy to get a reaction out of him. It's about cultivating this internal world where you find humor in the little things, where you dance to your favorite song in the kitchen, where you laugh at your own clumsy moments, where you smile at a private joke running in your head, not because you're hoping someone notices, but because you're genuinely enjoying the moment for yourself. There's something electric about that. And guys, they feel it on a level they don't even consciously understand. They'll see you sitting there laughing with your friends, or catching yourself giggling while scrolling through something on your phone, and they'll think, what's making her smile like that? What's going on in her world that's making her so happy right now? And that curiosity, that's where the obsession begins. Men are drawn to women who already have their own source of joy, because that energy feels like freedom. It feels like lightness. It feels like being with her would add fun to his life, not drain it. The more you're responsible for your own happiness, the more he starts to see you as this positive force he wants more of. When you're self-amused, conversations flow more easily. You're not waiting anxiously for him to say something interesting. You're already bringing the fun. You're telling him about the ridiculous thing that happened to you at the coffee shop this morning, or sharing a random, quirky thought that popped into your head. That playful energy creates moments between you that feel different from what he's used to. And let me tell you, guys, remember the women who make them feel different. Even in moments of flirtation, self-amusement changes the game. Instead of waiting for him to make a move, you might tease him, laugh at something he says, or playfully roll your eyes when he tries too hard to impress you. It keeps the dynamic light and exciting. It says, hey, I like you, but I'm not sitting here waiting for your approval. That attitude makes him want to work harder for your attention, because he feels that you're already fulfilled without him. You also stop taking things so personally. If he takes a little longer to text back, or he cancels plans last minute, it stings less when your happiness isn't tied to what he's doing. Instead of spiraling into insecurity, you shrug it off and get back to your life. And ironically, that's when he starts noticing your absence. That's when he starts realizing that your world doesn't stop spinning just because he's not there. And here's the deeper part of this. When you're truly self-amused, you're not constantly over-analyzing how to keep him interested. You're too busy being in the moment, enjoying your life, making yourself laugh, pursuing your passions. That energy can't be faked, and it's what makes you unforgettable. When he thinks of you, he won't remember the perfectly crafted texts or how available you were every time he called. He'll remember how alive you felt when you talked about your favorite book. He'll remember the way you laughed uncontrollably at that silly inside joke you created between you two. He'll remember that moment you danced on the street when your song came on, not caring who was watching. That's the image that stays in his head. That's the memory that makes him smile days later when he's alone, missing you, wondering why being around you felt so damn good. And the truth is, it's not because you were trying to make him obsessed. It's because you were too busy enjoying your life to care whether he was obsessed or not.